I'm Matt McEwen, Solution Architect at Cloud Active. In this video, we're going to review the most basic of Salesforce CRM functions. We'll start from one of the most common starting points, the home page, and in particular, the Leads tab, which you can see here on the page. Now, your tab navigation may look different from mine. It's actually editable here. You can just pick these up and move them around as you need to. We're going to consider leads and then convert them into accounts, contacts, and opportunities. Then we'll look at quotes and orders. Let's think about what these records all mean. They each represent some moving part in your business process. There may be some event or action that moves a customer from one type of record to another. For instance, a lead is designed to represent a prospective customer you've not dealt with. So the lead is the entry point for your new customers, your digital front door. And after your lead comes through the door, you speak with them and you're able to establish if you're able to service them. Sometimes the answer is no. But those prospects who are looking for a product or a service that you can supply, and they have a budget, and they're ready to buy, and they satisfy whatever other conditions you need satisfied, they are then qualified leads, and it's time to convert them to an account, to a contact, and an opportunity. And of course, you need to make your digital guests feel welcome. Whether they come from your website form, or they message you on social media, email you, there are plenty of ways they can land in your digital environment. The important thing is they expect a swift response. You should acknowledge their arrival. Let them know they've got your attention and you'll be right with them. So if they called on the phone, well, that's simple. You're right there. But any digital interaction should generate some acknowledgement email or a text. And that in turn means that you need to ensure your data capture mechanism requires a phone number and an email at a minimum. So here is what our lead record looks like. In the highlights panel up the top here, we've chosen 5 fields that we want to see quickly. One of these indicates here that Betty's record has come from the web form. Below that, we've got the path. We've got 5 different statuses here on our lead, and these are going to track the progress of the lead on its way from new to conversion. Salesforce typically gives you a lot more fields than you need. One of the fields that I like to keep up there is the lead score. Now, the lead score is designed to help me track which are the best leads so I can follow up with those ones first. Lead scoring highlights which customers have visited your website more, visited more pages, downloaded more information in PDF, have basically interacted in a digital fashion with your website. You may, for example, value more highly the prospects who came from a specific channel, such as a trade show, over the website. A QR code or a URL in a specialized publication could help you identify and grade those leads more highly. Sometimes leads have attributes which make them more likely to buy. For example, a gardening service might score leads according to their postcode, where the job size and the value is higher in the suburbs than it is in the inner city. If you can see some fields on the page that you don't need, if you're not collecting fax numbers, if the annual revenue of the company is not really something that you collect, we can make these fields go away. Now, typically, the next action is to make contact. We can automate an acknowledgement email, or perhaps we could try calling them and send a follow-up message if that fails. We've got a stage here called Working Contacted. Now, you can customize these as well. They can say anything you like. The idea is to make sure that that stage indicates that that lead is no longer new. We've made contact with this lead. A common feature we see is in nurturing communications, campaigns for the leads who are not yet ready to buy, even though they look like they're good prospects. Here, you aim to keep front of mind for those customers when they're ready. A stage called Nurturing. Now, that action can add the lead to a campaign in your email automation and remove them from the list when you decide it's time to convert them. Now, at the end of the qualifying process, you should be able to decide if a prospect really is a potential customer or not. And here's a rule of thumb. If you're prepared to go to the effort to make a quote for this customer, then they're qualified. If not, you've qualified them out and perhaps directed them to somewhere else to get their needs met. How you qualify your prospects, precisely what you'll ask them and tell them, well, you're assessing these prospects to judge if you can serve them. It's different for each business, of course. You might get it done in several phone calls, or you may not even need the phone at all. You might have several steps on your web form that qualifies the prospects sufficiently. The lead record essentially here is tracking the stages on the way to making that decision from new through nurturing to either closed and not converted or converted. When it's time to convert, we're going to use this button here. So let's look at what happens at this step. As a high-level summary, we're going to convert the lead record into an account, a contact, and an opportunity. And you get the option to check if the account already exists. You don't want to be creating duplicates. There are matching rules that will let you identify as well if you've already got the contact in your database, using the email address or using something else, the phone number, for example. Again, that's configurable. But most of the time, we're going to create a new contact, we're going to create a new opportunity as well to track the sales motion. This is the fastest way to get all of those three records created in one step. Let's hit convert. And just one more thing before we do convert this lead is the activity timeline here on Betty's record. You can see here, for example, that I've logged a call. There might also be a task. If I wanted to have a reminder for something in the future, equally I could set up a meeting, or equally I could create an email and send that either through Salesforce email servers or through Outlook or Gmail. When I convert the lead, this call here will be connected to the new contact, and we'll see it's also connected to the opportunity that's created. Let's go and convert this lead now. We're going to create a new account, a new contact, and a new opportunity with this name. That's also configurable, by the way. The settings for what the name of the opportunity should be, what its close date should be, and what opportunity stage it should reach. Here, we can see it's all finished. Let's take a look at the account. So the account is a record for an entity, like a company or a club, but it could also be a household. Now, if you think you only need people and no entities in your database, you can use what are called person accounts. We see this sometimes in B2C type operations. In many cases, though, it's just easier to use the standard account model, and we can include households in that. Let me demonstrate. In the center of the data model that Salesforce uses is the account record. Usually it's a company. On the left side, we have contacts, who are people. And on the right, opportunities, which represents sales motions. Now, you could equally just replace the company with a household. Again, we've got people connected to the household, and we've got sales to the household. If you're in the kind of business that, for example, sells swimming lessons, then you may need a parent, you may need somebody with a credit card who might be a different parent. You've got young Jimmy who does the actual swimming. And each of these three individual people can be connected to the household account. They're all related to each other. You'll be able to see those relationships. You may also, though, find that you need to have companies and households in your environment, and that's possible too if we're using the standard account data model that Salesforce has. So here is the account record we've created for the Betty Nguyen Corporation. You can see from the lead we've brought the account name, and we've also brought the address from the lead. It's been mapped to a field called the billing address. Now, you may also need to populate a shipping address. You might use that for a warehouse or a delivery point. So when you sell things, you may need to send things as well. On the right-hand side, you can see some related lists. So the contacts here, Betty Nguyen, is related to this account. If I had another individual related to this account, you'd see that here as well. And you can see the opportunity that's been created too. But let's first of all go and have a look at Betty's contact record. You can see her mobile number has been brought across to the contact. That makes sense. Mobile numbers usually are for contacts. If the lead had a phone field, it would also be copied here to the contact, but in addition, it would be also on the account. Notice as well, the same address from the lead has been mapped to the contact, but this time we're calling it the mailing address. If just quick to check the activity, you can see that call, which we had on the lead, has been brought across to the contact as well. Navigating to the opportunity, and we'll see that that activity is also part of our activity history on this opportunity. The opportunity has this important path, a little bit like the lead, because again, we're going to have several stages between the sale opening and closing. Exactly what these steps are, again, are different for every business. Salesforce gives you the flexibility to name and number these steps any way you like, but each of them are related to a probability of the sale proceeding. And as you move across the path, that probability increases. The value of the sale may remain the same, but the forecast of the future value of that opportunity increases as the probability increases. Another important feature of the opportunity is the contact roles. Now, we've only had one contact who's been associated to this opportunity, but it's possible that, particularly in a household and certainly in a company, you've got 2 or 3, perhaps even more people who are somehow involved in making the sale. There may be a decision maker, there may be somebody who is an influencer, there may be an expert, there may be some advisor involved. So these people can also be added as contacts, and given a role in the opportunity,